Hi, my name is Ellie. I am one of the physios at Physio, and today I'll be taking you through a Matwork Pilates class. So the goals of today are really to get your core really working really nice and strong, and also getting a bit of glute activation there. So it's perfect for those of you who have been sitting down at your desk all day, working from home, or if previously you've had a lot of back pain. This is a really great way to prevent future back pain. I will say though that this class isn't for those who are in mid to late pregnancy or who currently have any lower back pain or any nerve irritation at the moment. Later down the track, once you have a bit of physio and that back pain has settled or that nerve pain has settled, then this would be great for you to prevent that from happening again. So to get started, all you'll need is a mat with you and yourself, and we're going to start lying on our back with our pelvic clock. So, lying on your back, feet hip width apart, knees bent up, hands by your side. We're going to start with the pelvic clock. So what you want to imagine is that your pelvis is a clock. Up towards your belly button is 12 o'clock, and down towards your pubic bone is 6. So all you're going to be doing is rocking up to 12 and then tilting down, rolling down towards 6. So we're going to go through a few of these. So rolling up towards 12 and then rolling down towards 6. Rolling up to 12 and down towards 6. You want to keep as quiet as you can through your legs, initiating that movement from your pelvis. So as you roll up to 12, your lower back should flatten. As you roll down towards 6, you might get a little bit of an arch through your lower back. It should feel nice and comfortable as you roll back and forth between 12 towards your belly button and 6 your pelvis. Couple more there for me. Last one, rolling up to 12 and down to 6. And then back. The next step, what you're going to do is imagine that your pelvis on either side of the hip bones are 3 and 9. So what you want to do is like a bit of a seesaw action. As you drop one pelvis down to 9, you're rising at 3 o'clock or lifting that other side up. And then you're going to rock back and forth as if it's that seesaw. One side lowers and the other side rises. Again, keeping nice and quiet through the legs, initiating that movement from the pelvis. A little bit of movement at the legs is alright. Dropping down at 9, rising from 3, and alternating on the other side. We're going to do 2 more there, so down one side, rising at the other, dropping down, and last one, both sides, and coming back down, and then resting back through the middle. So now that you've done up to 12, down to 6, through to 9, and down to 3, you're going to imagine that you've got that big clock face. And you want to try and go in a circular motion, going from 12 to 3 to 6 to 9 and back up to 12. So you're going clockwise for me. Again, keeping nice and quiet through the legs, allowing the hips to initiate that movement. I want you to imagine that there's pizza dough underneath your pelvis and that you're kneading through that pizza dough. Smoothing out equally on all sides. We're going to go 5 more on one side, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4, and last one, 5. Now we're going to reverse it, and we're going to go from 12 to 9 to 6 to 3, back up to 12. It might feel a bit more clunky this way, it might feel a bit more natural. I just want you to go round in that circle. Imagine that your pelvis is a porcelain bowl, nice and heavy, and it's half filled with water. You want to swish that water around that bowl. Bring out that inner Brazilian dancer, get those hips moving. We're going to go 5 more, so 1, 2, 3, 4, and last one. 5, good, resting there. Staying in this same position, we're going to go into bridging. So bridging, arms by your side, feet hip width apart, knees just apart. You're going to go from neutral pelvis, rocking up to 12, and then imagine that your spine is a string of pearls. And you want to lift one pearl up at a time until you're just resting on your shoulder blades. And then you want to lower those pearls, so dropping down, going heavy from the chest, dropping down one vertebrae at a time, back to your neutral pelvis position. You're going to rock that pelvis up to 12, peeling up one vertebrae at a time, peeling up those pearls up to your shoulder blades. When you get to that top position, lengthen, try and pull your legs away from your body. And then go heavy in the sternum, go heavy in the breastbone, dropping down one vertebrae at a time until you land back into that neutral pelvis position. Going again, so rolling up to that 12 o'clock, lifting the bottom up, lifting up one vertebrae at a time until you're resting on your shoulder blades. From here, lengthen, pull those knees away to the wall, pull them away, find some length through your body. Go heavy in the breastbone, dropping down, rolling down, dropping down that one pearl at a time. Back to that neutral pelvis position. Breathing in. As you breathe out, roll up to the top. Pull the knees away, find that length through your thighs. Drop down from the breastbone first, rolling down. One at a time. Good, let's do one more there. Breathing in to prepare. Breathing out. Rolling back up. One at a time. Now, if you're feeling really strong and comfortable, stay at the top. If not, that's okay. Keep going with your bridges as you were before. If you're feeling really strong and really confident, we're going to go into a leg lift here. So keep your pelvis nice and quiet, nice and stable as you lift one leg up and lower that back down. We're going to go 5 on one side, so this is 2. Keep your pelvis up nice and high. 3. 4. Last one. 5. Bring the leg back down. We're going to roll all the way back down, heavy in the chest. Coming back down. If that was too hard for you, stick with just the bridging, up and down. If you're feeling really confident, we're going to go onto the other leg. So rolling back up, pulling the knees away towards the other wall, keeping the pelvis up. You're going to float one leg up and drop it back down. Floating up. And back down, that's 2. 3. 4, last one. And 5. Slowly lowering back down as if you're that string of pearls. And having a rest there. From here, we're going to go into our dead bug. So what you want is hands resting by your sides. Nice neutral pelvis. You're going to imagine that there's helium balloons taped to your shins. And those helium balloons are going to lift your leg up and then float it back down. Keeping nice and quiet in the pelvis. Floating back up and coming back down. Breathing in as you bring that leg up. Breathe out as you lower. Breathe in. And breathing out. Breathing in, breathing out, breathing in, breathing out. Let's go for one more, folding at the hip and breathing out there. Resting the foot, we're going to swap sides. Imagine that helium balloon taped to your shin, floating that leg up into what we call tabletop and floating it back down. Breathing in here and breathing out. Breathing in, breathing out. This is a great exercise for you to be aware of where your hips are. What's happening at your hips? What's happening at your lower back? Really ground yourself into the floor. Press through the hands. Press into your head into the mat. Feel quite light through the legs as you lift and lower. Last one on the other side. Lowering back down. Now, if you're up for a bit of a challenge, we're going to do double leg dead bugs. So you're going to place nice and heavy through the hands, lifting up both legs at the same time and floating them back down. Lifting up and floating back down. Lifting up, floating back down. If you find that as you lower, you start to arch in the lower back, just stop at the point where you're comfortable before you have to arch. So if this is as much as you can do, work in that range. You're still working that core, so I'm happy for you to work within that range. If you need to, continue to work on just the one leg and then working on the other. If you can, both legs all the way down and all the way up. We're just going to go 2 more. 1, last one, and 2. Resting there. Take a nice big breath in and having a breath out. Allow yourself to just relax into that mat. We're going to go into our femur arcs here. So what I want you to do is float one leg up and then float the other leg up. And we're going to reverse, similar to what we did in the dead bug. However, you're starting in this position and you lower one leg down and then bring it back up. Lowering down and bringing it back up. Imagine that behind your knee you've got a little ball and you want to maintain some pressure on that ball without squishing it or letting it drop. So you're keeping at that nice 90-degree angle at your knee. 3 more for me. Good. Resting at the top. We're going to repeat this on the other side. Breathing in as you lower. Breathing out as you bring it back up. Imagining that ball underneath the knee. Keeping that pressure on the wall without dropping or losing it. Two more there for me. 1. Last one. And 2. Float one leg down and then bring down the other. Have a big stretch out if you need to. Done a lot of work on those legs. So what we're going to be doing now is a bit more tummy work, getting that core really firing, making sure it's nice and strong. So you're going to start in the same position as your bridging or your pelvic clock. So feet hip width apart, knees apart, quiet in the pelvis. I'm going to get you to interlace your fingers and have that resting behind your head. Thumbs facing down just so it can support the neck. From here, I want you to bring your elbows up into your peripheral vision so that you can see them on either side while looking forward. Take a big breath in and lengthen. Imagine the crown of your head coming towards the other side of the wall. As you breathe out, I want you to peel your head, neck and shoulders up. Breathing in, bring the hands up behind the thighs. Breathe out, curl yourself up that little bit further. Maintain that position as you breathe in, bring the hands back behind the neck. And breathe out to lower all the way down. So to go again, elbows in your peripheral vision. Breathe in to prepare. Breathe out as you peel the head, neck and shoulders up. Breathe in as you arch and bring those arms behind the legs. Breathe out, peel yourself up that little bit further. Breathe in, bring the hands up behind the neck again. Breathing out, lowering all the way back down. We're going to go again. Breathing in to prepare. Breathing out as you peel head, neck and shoulders up. Breathe in, arch those hands up and long, reaching behind the thighs. Breathe out, peel yourself up that little bit more. Breathe in, maintain that position there. Bring the hands behind the neck. Breathe out, allow yourself to roll back down. We're going to go again, breathing in to prepare. Breathe out. That's 4. We're going to go to 6. Breathing in there. Breathing out, peel the head, neck and shoulders up. Breathing in, reaching long, right reach behind the thighs. Breathe out, pull yourself up that little bit further. Breathing in, bring the hands behind the neck. And then breathe out to peel yourself back down. 1 more to go, breathing in. Breathe out, peel yourself up. Breathe in, reach long with the arms behind the thighs. Breathe out, peel yourself up that little bit more. Breathing in, reaching up and long around the back of the head. And then breathing out, lowering back down. You should feel your tummy muscles quite warm right now. I know mine is quite warm. We're going to go into a few more harder versions. If you're comfortable with this, stay like this. If you're happy to go a little bit harder, what I want you to do is float one leg up at a time into that tabletop position, keeping the pelvis nice and neutral, quite quiet. We're going to do the same concept. So, interlacing the fingers behind the head and neck, elbows in your peripheral vision. Inhale to prepare. As you exhale, curl up, head, neck and shoulders. Breathe in, reach behind the thighs. Breathe out, peel yourself up that little bit more. Breathe in, bring the hands back behind the neck. And then lower yourself back down. We're going for 6 here. Breathe in, breathe out, curling up. Breathe in, reach the arms nice and long. Breathe out, peel yourself up that little bit more. Breathe in here, bring the arms back. And then come back down. That's 2. We're going to 6. Peeling up, reaching the arms long, pull yourself up that little bit more, bringing the hands back behind the head, and coming back down. That's 3 to go. Elbows in peripheries, breathing in, breathe out, peel yourself up, bring the hands back behind the thighs, curl up that little bit more, stay there, bring the hands back, and come back down. 2 to go, almost there. Breathing in, breathe out, peel up, breathe in, bring the hands behind the thighs. As you breathe out, pull yourself up that bit more. Keep yourself there. Breathe in, bring the hands back. Breathe out, lower down. Last one. Lovely, float one leg down at a time. And give yourself a nice big stretch out. Lengthen through those tummy muscles. I bet you they're on fire at the moment. I know mine are. Alrighty. Our next exercise, I'm going to get you to turn onto your side for me. So lying side on, you can either rest your hand underneath your head or pop a pillow there if you need. You're going to have your hips bent to 90 degrees and your knees bent to 90 degrees. Resting here, you can have the hand either in front of you or on your hip. If you place your hand on your hip, what I want you to do is push that hip away, lengthen between hip bone and lower rib, And then you'll find a nice little gap between the bottom of your torso and the mat. If you're not active through your core, there's no gap between the mat and yourself, and you slouch. So if you push that hip bone away, get a nice gap between the mat and your torso, and that's a really good position to work the core. From here, what you're going to do is you're going to lift up the top leg just so it's parallel with the floor. You're going to keep your pelvis and your torso nice and stable as you bend from the hip, folding at the hip, and then I want you to swing the leg back, trying to keep yourself as stable as you can. We're going to come forward, swing the leg back, keeping nice and strong through the torso, and nice and stable through the hips. We're going for 6 here, so this is 4, swinging the leg back. Imagine that your hip is a door on a hinge and it's swinging back and forth. Last one. Swinging the leg back. Coming back and resting that leg down. Now if that's challenging enough for you, I want you to stay at that version. If it's not quite challenging enough, what you're going to do is you're going to extend the leg nice and long. Both legs. You're going to lift up the top leg and you're going to do the same exercise. If you need to, stay at the bent knee. If not, for a little bit more of a challenge, straighten that leg, point the toes. You're going to sweep that leg forward as far as you can and sweeping back. Now, because this one we're a bit more wobbly, you can use your hand to stabilize. So bending from the hip, sweeping back, bending from the hip, sweeping back, bending at that hip, sweeping back. 2 more for me there, bending at the hip, sweeping back. Last one, bending at the hip, and sweeping back. Good, and allow that leg to rest. You should feel a nice burn through your glutes, that side bottom muscle. We're going to make things a bit harder now. What you're going to do is, if you're in the bent knee position, you're bringing that leg up to parallel and you're opening and closing. It's a little similar to that fire hydrant exercise. The more challenging version, keeping legs long, resting the arm down, still having that space between the mat and your torso. You're going to rise and lower just from the hip. What we don't want to see is a collapse down of that torso. So imagine that there's chopsticks. Okay, so once you've done the leg lift and lower, coming back down, having a rest, the next exercise we're going to be doing, if you're in the bent knee variation, you're going to lift that leg up, and with your knee, I want you to draw circles of the air. Being mindful not to lose that 90-degree angle at the knee as you draw that circle. If you're looking for the harder variation, legs long, chopstick between your hip and lower rib, pointing your toe and drawing that dinner plate circle at this leg. We're going to go for 10 one way, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We're going to reverse it. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, last one, 1, and lower. Good. All right, we're going to swap sides now. Give the other side a bit of love. So turning over onto your mat, hands underneath head or a pillow if you need. We're going to start with our side lying. So both knees and hips are bent to 90 degrees. Active through your core, so you should get a nice little gap between your torso and your mat. hand on hip if you need, or in front for balance. You're going to bring that hip up and the leg up to parallel with your mat, bending from the hip and bringing it back. Folding at that hip, bringing the leg back. Folding at the hip, bringing the leg back. Trying to keep as quiet through your pelvis as you can without rocking as you fold at the hip and extend nice and long. We're going to do 5 more here. 4, 3, 2, last one, and 1. Bringing the leg back, lowering it down. If this position is comfortable for you, stay there. Otherwise, extend the legs long. You're going to repeat the bending at the hip and extending long. Bending at the hip, extending back. Bending at the hip, extending back. Good, we're going to go 5 more. 5, 4, 3, 2, and last one. 1. Resting the leg there. Our next one, as you remember on the other side, is lifting the leg up and back down. Making sure we're not losing that connection between lower rib and hip. Keeping that chopstick nice and splinting open that side. And you're just bending and folding at the hip joint rather than from your pelvis and lower back. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Relaxing down there, feeling that burn. Give yourself a pat on the bum if you need. And the last one on this side is our dinner plate circles. So again, if you're at this bent knee position, keeping the knees bent, keeping that 90 degree at the knee, and drawing that circle with the kneecap. If you're in this position, we've got 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Reversing it. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Resting the leg back down there. Give yourself a massage if you need to. Alright, from here, we're going to go into a spine twist. So what you want to do is sitting on your sit bone. So the 2 bones tucked underneath your bum cheeks. Your feet are going to be mat width apart. Now, if you have any shoulder injuries, you can do this one with arms across your chest. If not, we're going to be nice and extended out through the arms. Imagine that someone is pulling on either side of your arms and that your head has a balloon attached to it, or it's full of helium. So you want to rise up onto your sit bones, stretching out from the arms. Breathe in here. As you breathe out, I want you to turn and face one way. Breathe in as you come back to center, and breathe out. You're going to turn to the other direction. Breathing in, breathing out. This is a great exercise for your upper to mid back. If you're feeling it in your hamstrings, you can bend the knees or go into a diamond position. And we're going to breathe in, breathe out. Breathing in to come back to center, breathing out to really feel that stretch. Breathing in, breathing out, coming back to center. We're going to do a few more. Breathing in, breathe out, hold. Breathe in here. Breathe out, try and go that little bit further. Breathe in to come back. breathe out to go to the other side. Hold here, breathe in. Breathe out, go that little bit further. Breathe back. Good. 2 more on each side. Hold, breathe in. Breathe out, go that bit further. Coming back. One more each side. Last one. And coming back. Good. Bring your knees in, give yourself a little bit of a hug. We've got one more exercise to go. I always like to finish my exercises with a nice standing stretch. So, what I want you to do, if you've got a tall foam roller, great. If not, use a wall for a bit of a cue, just so that you can see how you're going. What you want to do is place your foam roller just behind your legs and give yourself about 10 centimeters distance away from that foam roller. If you don't have a foam roller, stand in front of a wall again. Your heel's about 10 centimeters away from that wall. What you're going to do here is breathe in and lengthen and grow taller. As you breathe out, you're going to curl the head down. Then you're going to follow with the upper back, curling, curling, curling. You should be putting some weight through your toes more than your heels as you roll down and allow yourself to go floppy. That's it. From here, you're going to start from the hips. Roll the hips back first. Then roll up, one joint at a time. As you stand up nice and tall again. We're going to do this one again, breathing in. Breathe out, roll down from the head, neck and shoulders first. Allow the shoulders to hang down. If you can't reach your toes, that's fine. A little bit of a bend in the knees is allowed. Then you're going to roll up from the pelvis first. Rolling up one vertebrae at a time. If you're using the foam roller, this is a really good way to know whether you're giving yourself a back stretch or a hamstring stretch. Typically with hamstring stretches, people tend to hike their bottom backwards and you feel it more through here. This is a nice lower back stretch. So what you will find is if you start to push your bottom out, you'll knock over that foam roller. Or if you're against the wall, you might find yourself losing balance and going forwards. So this is a great lower back stretch. So again, breathing in nice and tall. Breathing out, tipping down from the head, neck and shoulders, going heavy in the chest. Allow those shoulders to really relax forward. Coming down, holding it here, and then bringing up from the pelvis first, stacking up the ribs, looking forward. We're going to go for 2 more, breathing in. Breathe out, head, neck and shoulders go first, then rolling the pelvis forward. Allowing the shoulders to go heavy here. Breathing in, breathe out, curl that pelvis back up, stacking up the ribs, head, neck, shoulders. And 1 more, breathing in, breathing out, tilting back down, peeling away from that wall if you're using a wall. Hang down here for 3, 2, 1. Rolling back up from the pelvis first. Rolling back up. Good. Give yourself a nice shake. Roll out the shoulders. Kick out the legs. You've done really, really well. It was a hard workout. I hope you all enjoyed it. We've got many more Pilates classes to come in future. Let me know what you think. If you've got any suggestions on exercises or areas you'd like to target, we can work that into it. But yes, today was a big focus on our core and our glutes. I'm sure they're burning right now, so a bit of TLC for yourself. Grab the foam roller, grab your spiky balls, give yourself a bit of release work, and give yourself a pat on the back because you just smashed out a mat work Pilates class. So awesome job. Thanks guys.